got a pick six. Pike tricked up and then ends the world with the big one-hand. Here's the pitch. Back up the middle, that's gonna be trouble. That one hit the post and then headed in!
That's part of team building. You want the highest level talent you can and the highest character, and we think that there's good players in this draft that help us accomplish that, though. You know, we're excited to go forward.
Spurs GM on Lottery Night talking about improving the team, but it's interesting the way he phrased it. Always looking to add the best possible talent. That's not always specific to the draft, as we're going to talk about here throughout today's show on the Sports Update brought to you by Martinez and Associates. Bobby Mendez, Hector Ledesma, packed show. Baseball, the name of the game, really. We got two college teams who are headed to the postseason. Got a high school team that has a chance to get to the state championship. And oh yeah, a huge sporting event coming in just a couple of months. Got the details leading up to it. Something that's going to be pretty cool. Something that happened last year. And we're looking to have it again this coming. Well, I'll just say for now, it's in August.
August 23rd.
August 23rd. We'll give it a little bit of. But we start with those aforementioned San Antonio Spurs. Now, you just heard Brian Wright. We want the best talent possible. What does that mean? Well, according to a new report from Shams Charania, that also could include Kevin Durant. He says the Spurs and Durant had some interest in each other back at the trade deadline. That's not surprising. But Shams going on to say it's still there and it still could happen. Now, on top of the whole Durant talk, the Giannis discussion hasn't gone away because there's talk, Bobby, that if not Durant, then the Greek Freak. The Spurs are looking to be a big player in some way, shape, or form. Now, all of this obviously falls under the reality that they have the number 2 pick, the number 14 pick. They have a large number of assets. They have the reigning Rookie of the Year, Stephon Castle, and they have a bunch of ways this can go. And so as we assess this kind of new bit of information, right? And again, it's new, but it is new to a certain extent because now they not only had interest in Durant, and we kind of, Shams is pretty spot on. He's pretty solid with this stuff. But now there's reason to believe it's kind of in the mix again.
Yeah, it's credible information. A lot of new factors since, if they were interested during the trade line to make a move. Well, now we are secured with the second pick in the draft, also with the 14th pick. And of course, as you mentioned, tons of assets, right? So that is in the mix. Now, my opinion, I don't think we need Kevin Durant. Now, if we get Kevin Durant like in a Chris Paul kind of role, where he comes in that kind of situation, it'll be great to have him. But I feel like Kevin Durant's window is getting a little bit more and more closer to getting shut. And with Giannis, I mean, as we talked about in the last few shows since it's been happening, I think we just have a bigger picture with Giannis and a quicker route to maybe a championship if we did that.
Durant's 36 years old, and the thing that doesn't realistically bode well for a deal being worked out in that case is he's not exactly the guy who, hey, I'm going to sign with them so I can help win a championship. He's already won 2 of them. So he doesn't need, and at that, you can make the argument that he was the most important player those 2 years on those Warrior squads. I know about Steph Curry. I know about Klay Thompson. Obviously, Draymond Green and Steve Kerr runs the whole thing. Yes. But Kevin Durant was the MVP those years of the finals. And so he doesn't need that final capping of a career. He's already got not one, but 2 ships.
Yeah, and even in the time that he had in Oklahoma with
Russell
Westbrook and Harden, those were great teams, and they were right on the cusp of getting into a championship as well. But I just feel that as the time has passed, Kevin Durant is a great shooter, great ability to get to the basket, spreads the floor, of course. I just feel if we're going to make and be serious about investing in, I'm not saying that he's not top talent. I mean, obviously, if you got the choice between Giannis and Kevin Durant, I feel it's a no-brainer. You put all your efforts into getting Giannis.
Yeah, and the thing about Giannis is still, as you continue that conversation, right, is that at what price, right? Because you've also got all those first-round picks at your disposal as well. You know that any deal for any one of those two is going to have to include either the number 2 pick or Stephon Castle, or on some level maybe even De'Aaron Fox, who the Spurs aren't going to be wanting to give up because they traded for him and they plan on giving him an extension. But the point is the Spurs will have to give up something. Yeah. And to your point, if you're giving up something huge, either Castle or the number 2 pick, you'd rather do it for a 30-year-old Greek freak as opposed to a 36-year-old Durant.
Right. And just to be clear, I feel that the untouchables, obviously, Wemby, Castle, and Fox. I feel there's a lot of other assets on the Spurs team that can be bundled up, in my opinion. But I think those guys untouchable. You don't risk that for Giannis, in my opinion.
This is a question for another week, maybe even next week when I pose it to you. Of those untouchables, maybe something to explore a little bit later on is the number 2 pick, a.k.a. would probably be Dylan Harper, is that more untouchable maybe than Stephon Castle? because some people will say that his upside is bigger than Castle's, which is kind of silly because Castle's just 1 year in, 20 years old, and already won Rookie of the Year. But again, a discussion for another day as we lead up to the end of June before we take that little hiatus before the fall. Hey, when we talk about the Spurs, and again, we're going to have more of that talk throughout these next couple of weeks, but the Spurs are not the only big news in town. 2 local baseball teams headed to postseason runs. UTSA punching its ticket to the Austin Regional of the NCAA. The Roadrunners getting in is an at-large bid. 2nd seed, they're going to play Kansas State. That game's Friday at 6. And then for Trinity, they're in the Division III World Series. And so they're going to take Wisconsin Whitewater. That game also Friday. It's 7 o'clock. Now, all these times Central Standard Time. Yes, Austin, obviously our time zone. But for anyone wondering, that 7 o'clock start in Wisconsin is also Central Standard Time. So good baseball on at the college level. High school level is over. We're going to get to that later on in the show. But both UTSA and Trinity vying for eventual national championships.
Yeah, it's always exciting, especially when our local teams and UTSA and Trinity, they are no stranger to championship teams, whether it's basketball, softball, football. Trinity, for a smaller school, a pretty big player.
Won the whole thing, the national championship in D3 back in 2016. We are just getting started right here on the Sports Update, brought to you by Martinez and Associates. Up next, boxing chatter. Got a big event coming to San Antonio in just a couple of months. Details on the way.
Ready! Set! Go!
It's a bad idea to run a foot race against these guys, just like it's a bad idea to go up against the billion-dollar auto insurance industry all alone.
Hire Martinez and Associates. With us, it's personal.
You're gonna see me shine, 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 shine. Walking on beams of light, 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 light.
Welcome back to the Sports Update, brought to you by Martinez and Associates. If in need, give them a call, 337-1111, martinez-law.com, the website. For us, it's personal, and it is great people, even better attorneys, Martinez and Associates. And speaking of, look who joins us in studio, the man, the myth, the legend, Desi Martinez.
Thank you for having me, hermano.
No, of course, man. Thank you for everything that you do, not only for the community, but in sports as well. And so that is why we are proud to have you on today's show. You've become a major player in bringing big-time sports to San Antonio. And let's talk specifically boxing today. DMP, Desi Martinez Promotions, put on a fantastic card last spring, and you guys have another one coming up in August.
We do. We had to sit back, look at everything that went right, everything that went wrong, make our systems better, and we
Not
did
a whole
that.
lot went wrong. As being lucky enough to be a part of it from the outside, If it felt wrong, it was you were that duck that had the feet paddling under the water, but
Right.
nobody else saw it.
Right.
It looked smooth from up here.
I live in that world of commotion, so it was pretty easy for me to put that stone face on. But I'll tell you the biggest compliment we got, and I don't know if I shared this with you afterwards, because you were a big part of it. Thank you, you and Bobby, Jesse James Leha. After the show, one of the Techport AV guys came up to me. He didn't say a word. He goes, and I said, thank you, man. That means a lot. That means a lot, right? Because again, they see shows on a daily, weekly basis. We're just trying to put our best foot forward. Remember, we had that talk in Harlandale and said, look, let's just go for the gusto, do this as big as we can. Yeah. And thankfully with a success. It looked good, right?
Yeah.
So planning on doing it again, just better, bigger, faster,
really
stronger.
It was a great event. Even just walking in before everything was happening, the setup was wonderful. There were so many things that looked amazing. And it was just great to be a part of that event, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Wow, me too. I'm looking forward to it too.
And not to mention the card that you had was pretty amazing.
It was pretty neat. Well, speaking of, and I don't know, I didn't want to step on you. You were going to say something right now?
No, I was going to say Freddie Roach was there, man. And for me, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of boxing, right? I was there at the show, and of course the commission says you can't cheer. I wanted to cheer, right? I can't help it. So I just sat there on my hands. But honestly, I couldn't stop myself from going and being a fanboy with Freddie Roach.
I got there, I was able to put in my jacket in the locker room, and I turned around, and there was Freddie Roach.
Yeah.
I mean, someone I've seen on HBO and all these world-class fights.
Right.
I couldn't believe that you were able to get him there.
Yeah. He was there training Gio Cabrera, who's one of the top-ranked fighters in the world. Now, also a part of the card was Justin Figueroa, and I understand you have him coming back for the card that's coming back on August 23rd.
I'll tell you this, and I think I can share this. He loves San Antonio. Like he's Mr. Atlantic City, Mr. Northeast. That's where he was born, raised. That's where he fights out of. That's where he claims. But he loved it here, and he started telling me why he wanted to fight here again. I almost cried. My gosh, man! I didn't think I was like, put on your shirt. You're distracting me, Justin. Put on a shirt. But secondly, I mean, he just loved all of the love that he received from San Antonio. So he couldn't wait to be back. So all we had to say was San Antonio, and he was like, I'm there. So he's going to be back.
Yeah.
And his record is now, I think he's 3 more fights in. He's still undefeated. He's still knocked everybody else out, and he still hasn't put a shirt on. It's been a year and a half. He hadn't put a shirt on.
Would you put your shirt on?
When you look like him, you can afford to just walk around shirtless.
Right.
He is 12-0 now, to your point, and
Right.
so we got him about a year ago when he was on his way to 9-0, but just an outstanding career to this point, and he's going to be back on that August 23rd card as well.
Yeah, exciting match to watch. Even Cabrera was a great match to watch. The girls' fights that happened before was a good match to watch. Again, all the fights, everything, the whole atmosphere was great, and it was I feel like a tight window. This time you have a little bit more time than we had the last time.
Well, and like I said, I mean, it was, you were all part of it. It was a lot of stress before. It feels like I didn't sleep for 3 months. It was a lot of stress after, right? The follow-up, the close-up. I can tell you this, we figured our systems out. And when I talk about systems, it's the way that everybody does everything. From y'all, the commentators, right? And the guys that are telling everybody about what's going on, to the production, to the lighting, to the people that are greeting people in the stands, to the ring girls, to the advertising, to the PR team, and then to myself. And actually, I'm doing it all so that I can do less work. Like I can do less work. That's ultimately the goal. So I can show up and it's done. But Daryl Goodlow, DW Goodlow, is back doing all of the production, and he's one fight better now. I'm back, and I'm not an expert at this stuff, but at the end of the day, we learned a lot from the first fight. So things are already running much smoother, and I'm looking forward to it. There are some commitments from people that have promised to come, that they asked to come. Believe it or not, one of the best compliments, again, that we got, the referee that refereed most of the fights actually said this right before the last fight. He approached AC Adrian Clark from Fighters First Management, and he goes, hey, because he already knew him. AC knows everybody. He goes, hey, who are these guys? He goes, well, this is one of my best friends, one of my mentors, Desi Martinez, and he goes, whatever they're doing, he goes, I want to be a part of it. I said, man, I don't, what do you say to that? I mean, that's a referee that does this for a living. He's seeing shows on a daily basis, and he's saying, whatever you guys are doing, we want to be a part of it. I said, cool, we're just throwing fights the best way we can, right? So, again, little things like that were really, really flattering. But one of the things that happened is because we have the YouTube video, you guys have seen it, right? Because we have all this stuff that we can rely on showing what happened last time, and we did that on purpose, right? We wanted people to see what was going on, to build up that excitement. We have commitments from current fighters as well as former world champs that want to come sit and just be part of it. Zab Judah, one of my favorite fighters in the 2000s, 90s, he's going to be here. And I think I can say that he's made the commitment, like I said. You never know what happened last moment, but he wants to be here. Errol Spence, who just fought in the fight of the century, I thought, against Terrence Crawford. Fortunately, he didn't come out on top, but he's a Texas boy.
Yeah.
He's from North Texas. He's still considered one of the pound-for-pound best fighters in the world. He wants to be down here.
Yeah.
One of the people again, there were some fighters there that have just exploded since our last fight. Brian Norman Jr., youngest American champion currently, 23 years old, right? Kind of like Justin, doesn't need to put a shirt on ever, right? 23 years old. But I think he's just turned 24. He's the WBO welterweight champion. He wants to be down here to be part of it again. He was sitting in the pit with us last time. And just a quiet kid, smart kid, good fighter, can knock people out with both hands, but he's coming back this time. And he wants to meet the crowd again because San Antonio is a city that if you get it on your back, hey man, we'll follow you anywhere, right?
Great names, great fights lined up. And so tell folks viewing right now, what can people do now ahead of, making sure that they're there on August 23rd?
First thing you can do is block off your calendar for August 23rd, 2025 at Techport Arena. The date is set. We will have, again, we will have Justin Figueroa back. We are looking and we are already speaking with getting Isaac Bermea there, another undefeated fighter that was on the first card. Now he's 8. Now he's still undefeated, and we really believe in this local kid. And also Eddie the Beast Ortiz. He was on the first card. He had, unfortunately, commitments that didn't allow him to be on the first card. He wants back in as well. So we're in the midst of finalizing the card, but at the end of the day, there is a fight going to be, whether it's got to be me and you, Hector. It's going to happen August 23rd, 2025. It is set. It is going. Be on the lookout. Block it off on your calendar. We'll let you know as soon as tickets are on sale.
I got a wicked right cross. I think Bobby can attest.
I got a wicked lunch uppercut. I was like, mira nomás.
I'm just curious about this, Desi. You've done such a fantastic job. And for those who don't know, Desi is very generous, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, very generous with not only your time, but your money when it comes to causes within San Antonio. And they're often causes that, if not for people who donate and who contribute such funds and time, they'd struggle. And so Desi's always been very good about that throughout San Antonio. The interest in boxing, Desi, where did that come from for you in terms of, not just from a fan perspective, but saying, you know what, I want to help bring big-time boxing back to San Antonio?
It actually started with a personal story. We sponsored a fighter that used to be one of my employees. She used to babysit him when he was little. And then he started climbing up the ropes in boxing, and he actually fought on an undercard of the pound-for-pound championship back, a few years ago on the Kovalev Ward undercard. And he needed a sponsor. And I said, look, man, that's awesome. Good for you. I said, I'd love to sponsor you. First big fight, pay-per-view, Vegas. We sponsored him because he needed the help, right? The fighters, if they're not on big cards and if they don't have a full-time job, this is their living. So I was happy to sponsor him. And that's when I met Adrian Clark, the CEO of Fighters First, the president. And then I saw how a lot of the fighters have the same background that I had growing up. And it just kind of one of those things. I'm getting, I don't know if you can tell, I'm getting older. I got a lot more gray. And I see these kids and I see that they're struggling to, make a difference in the world, but also end up becoming something in this world.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I'm like, man, that's what we all want. That's what we all wanted to do. And I'd love to help them. And then you see the impact they have on other kids. So it's just kind of, helping that person that can help the rest of people. And that began my interest in boxing. And then I realized I'm a fight fan my whole life. So I just kind of started merging those. And then I saw the opportunity. And then I look at the demographics and I look at where San Antonio is positioned. And I'm like, there's no way that San Antonio and South Texas really shouldn't. Vegas and South Texas, as far as boxing, should always switch, I think, because we have all the talent here. We have all the talent here. I mean, think about the two countries that have the most world champions. It's the United States and Mexico. Where do they cross? Right here. Right here. I've been talking about this from the very first day. Why are we going to Vegas? They should be coming here. The fighters are here. The fans are here. MMA, the rise of MMA in the past 20 years hasn't affected boxing in San Antonio and South Texas. So I'm like, look, there's an opportunity. You can really make, again, there's an altruistic motive as well. It's just a good decision all the way around, business-wise, as well as, just helping people out along that journey that are looking to get there. Again, it is uniquely South Texas, uniquely San Antonio.
Awesome. And Desi is staying with us because on the way next, we bring in a boxing insider. That's on the way. Coming next, more about what's happening in San Antonio boxing-wise, late summer, early fall. We're back right after this on the Sports Update brought to you by Martinez and Associates.
Ready! Set! Go!
It's a bad idea to run a foot race against these guys, just like it's a bad idea to go up against the billion-dollar auto insurance industry all alone.
Hire Martinez and Associates. With us, it's personal.
And joining us here on the Sports Update, brought to you by Martinez and Associates, Leti Cantu, a member of the WBC Council, who is a San Antonian. Leti, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here. And you guys are here in the West Side.
I know, on the West Side, where it happens,
yeah.
the K Alamo Studios,
All right.
KLMO. Now, Leti, that's really cool distinction, WBC Council here locally as well. Desi was just talking about how big an area this is and always has been for boxing, how rich it is. You know that better than anybody else.
Oh, yeah. Look, there is an appetite here, not just in San Antonio, but also in Texas. We have the best boxing fans. In Texas, they come from all over, and we saw that back in the first Canelo fight where he had his first headliner here in San Antonio back in April of 2013. So, no, San Antonians love boxing. So we're just really glad that Desi is bringing boxing back and he's doing these massive shows. And we look forward to August the 23rd.
Can I brag on you real quick before Bobby asks you a question?
Yeah.
That 2013 fight, that Canelo, it's safe to say it doesn't happen without your hard work.
Actually, we got to give credit where credit is due. It was Julian Castro, who was the mayor at the time. He was looking to find more money for the hotel motel tax. And he wanted to put on a big event. And so he assigned me to go and coordinate, talk to Golden Boy. We reached out to our world champ, James Leja, and he put it together with Leja and Bata and Mike. Luckily, we got really lucky. Canelo was supposed to fight on the undercard for...
Can you imagine that? Back in those days, right? Canelo on the undercard.
He was going to fight on the undercard for Mayweather. And Ghost Guerrero. And so they couldn't come to an agreement because Canelo wanted him to fight him in September. So Mayweather said, no one gives me an ultimatum. Yeah. So Canelo pulled out. We got a call from Oscar, and Oscar told Leja and Bata, hey, do you guys want the fight in San Antonio? We said yes. We had 6 weeks. And it was Canelo's very first headliner. He had done a fight before, which was a Knockout Kings, but it was a collective effort with all these, amazing knockout artists. But this was the first one. And I think because of the welcoming and the love that we showed Canelo, that he had an affinity for us. Yeah. And then from there, he was fighting here all the time.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Such amazing that in San Antonio, able to get those things going. And you, a big part of boxing, what was it that drew you to boxing?
Oh, my dad, my pops. Yeah. We were big Julio Cesar Chavez fans since I was a little girl. Yeah. And I'll tell you all a little story. It's kind of funny. My dad would say, well, I'm going to go travel. We're going to go see Julio Cesar. And okay, you can go, but te vas a llevar a la niña. I don't know who you're going with. I don't know what they're going to do. So you got to take her. So we kind of hung out, and years later, my mom's like, "Yeah, I don't care what. I don't care. You don't have to go." And I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm the one that does all the numbers." And so it was fun. It's been a big part of my family. I think, like many other Mexican families, we love boxing. Julio Cesar Chavez is and always will be my number one fighter for life.
Yeah, and Desi, to have someone like Letty in your corner, to use the boxing term,
right.
to have someone like that in your corner as Desi Martinez Promotions continues to advance boxing here, and with the next card coming on August 23rd, that must be a pretty big thrill for you.
It's a big blessing. I mean, the knowledge, the experience, the relationship. So I can't say enough. So again, that's why I wanted Letty to speak and look at the camera and be in front of me, because honestly, it makes it easier for me, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Letty, this card that he's putting together, I know it's still being formed, but we're set for August 23rd at Techport. And just give us your thoughts on what the work that Desi is doing and just generally boxing in San Antonio.
Oh, man, we're in for a treat. I mean, San Antonio is in for a night of, in my opinion, better than Vegas. I know Desi and the promotional company is going to go all out for Fight Week. So the anticipation, unless you're part of the boxing bubble, most folks don't know. But we assure you that we're gonna make sure that everyone knows about all these exciting events that are gonna be leading up to the actual fight, and more importantly, they're gonna be free. So it's going to be exciting. And look, Congressman Tony Gonzalez is called me and said, "I'm in." Congressman Henry Cuellar, Congressman Castro. I mean, we don't lack any shortage of fans here in San Antonio. Members of the council, I know, are really excited. State Representative John Lujan, if we let him, he'd want to be out there commentating, taking y'all's job, because he's a former coach, but we had to tell him, no, wait. So, look, folks are just really excited. One, they know Desi. They know that he's top-notch. Everything that he does is... it's always top of the line. And so we're excited. And more importantly, this is going to be huge for the community, for the kids, and the families that just love boxing. Yeah. I mean, the tickets are reasonable, but more importantly, they're going to see a show that you would be watching in Vegas, and you're going to be jumping up and down with excitement. So I'm excited. It's an honor for me.
August 23rd, Techport, and Letty's so gracious with her time. She's got somewhere else to be like 10 minutes ago, and she was gracious enough to stick around and chat with us. Thank you so much. No. And we'll see you probably before August 23rd, but for sure on August 23rd.
Yeah, well, we're here for the community. Thank you guys for what you do.
Thank you.
No, thank you. We couldn't do it without you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you. Still not done on today's edition of this week's edition of the Sports Update. Hey, there's still a baseball team alive in the hunt for a state championship. That's on the way next, right here on the Sports Update, brought to you by Martinez and Associates.
Been in a crash? It's illegal for lawyers to contact you first. If yours did, it could ruin your case. Don't trust law firms that break the law. Choose Martinez and Associates, voted San Antonio's best law firm 3 years in a row. After you've been in a crash, go with the law firm you can trust. Call Martinez and Associates. With us, it's personal.
Call 210-337-1111. That's 210-337-1111.
Y'all gonna see me shine, 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 shine. Walking on beams of light, 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 light.
Thanks again to both Desi Martinez and Letty Cantu. And in addition to the fight card being on August 23rd, the weigh-in the day before, August 22nd, at Smoke Sky Bar, and a press conference scheduled for June 18th. It's going to have specific details also at the Smoke Sky Bar. That's on June 18th.
Being part of that production last go around really got me up close with what is happening in boxing. And always been just a casual boxing fan. But boy, to see everything in production, for us to be there, to see the weigh-in, to see everything leading up to the fights, meeting some of the fighters, it is such an exciting atmosphere, and I cannot wait for this year's production.
There's nothing like covering boxing. Boxing's just different. It really is. You're just so much more amped up. Mm-hmm. It's literally two guys beating each other, so I don't know how you can't be, but a lot of fun. Of course, that and this show made possible by Martinez and Associates. Martinez and Associates, 337-1111 is their phone number. Martinez-law.com, the website. For us, it's personal, and it is great folks, great attorneys. In need, give them a call. Martinez and Associates, again, that phone number, 337-1111. All right, when we talk about baseball, talked about UTSA and Trinity earlier. Smithson Valley, though, still alive for a state high school baseball championship. The Rangers, they are beginning a 3-game series down in Corpus Christi's Whataburger Field. And if they win that series, they are on to the state final. Mont Bellevue, Barbers Hill, the opponent. Game 1 is Thursday. Game 2 is Friday at 2 o'clock. Game 3, if necessary, would follow 4 o'clock. And again, the Rangers, the lone team remaining from the area, still vying for a state baseball championship as Smithson Valley Baseball tries to match its football program in winning a state championship. Speaking of all these high school awards, the MayaSay.com Express News partnership is putting on the Alamo City High School Sports Awards. They've done it for the last couple of years. It's this coming Sunday with a museum, and Bobby Mendez and RC Audio Sports going to have a big part in terms of the pre-coverage of the event. Bobby?
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. We just did a walkthrough just yesterday. The kids will be coming in, so RC Audio Sports will be covering the red carpet, if you will, as they come in, try to grab a few of the athletes coming in, get them for an interview, get some of their thoughts on their seasons. So it's any of the juniors and seniors in high school athletics up for these awards. So we're proud to be a part of the Express News and the Maya Say awards this year for the first time. So that's going to be exciting.
And again, the awards include everything from best team, best athlete, boy and girl. Teams, boys and girls, just fantastic effort all the way around. Again, the Alamo City Awards. You can catch the stream before on RC Audio Sports. All that information on that graphic just before. That'll do it for this show. We'll see you next week. Bobby Mendez, Hector Ledesma. We thank you for joining us right here on the Sports Update, brought to you by Martinez and Associates.
Ready! Set! Go!
It's a bad idea to run a foot race against these guys, just like it's a bad idea to go up against the billion-dollar auto insurance industry all alone.
Hire Martinez and Associates. With us, it's personal.